Have you ever wondered what would happen if the Earth, our home, just stopped spinning? It sounds like a simple question, doesn't it? But the reality is a cataclysmic scenario straight out of a disaster movie, only far, far worse. Let's dive into the science behind this terrifying what if. Right now, as you're watching this, the Earth is rotating at a blistering speed. At the equator, we're all hurtling through space at about 1,670 kilometers per hour, or over 1,000 miles per hour. We don't feel it because everything around us, the buildings, the oceans is moving along with us. It's like being on an airplane. You don't feel the speed until there's turbulence or a sudden change. So, imagine that sudden change. The Earth slams on its brakes. What happens next? The law of inertia takes over. Everything that is UN nailed down to the planet's core end, everything would continue moving at that incredible speed. People, animals, cars, buildings, even the top layer of rock and soil would be instantly flung eastward. The force would be unimaginable, reducing everything on the surface to rubble in a matter of seconds. It would be a global-scale car crash, and nothing would survive the initial jolt. But that's just the beginning. The atmosphere, which was also moving with the Earth, would suddenly become a deadly weapon. Imagine winds far more powerful than the strongest hurricane ever recorded. We're talking about wind speeds of over 1,600 kilometers per hour. These winds would scour the planet's surface, shredding anything that somehow survived the initial stop. They would circle the globe, a relentless, destructive force, eroding mountains and kicking up a dust storm so massive it would block out the sun. And what about the oceans? The water, with its immense momentum, would not stop either. It would surge forward, creating tsunamis of biblical proportions. These super tsunamis wouldn't just hit the coastlines. They would wash inland for hundreds of kilometers, engulfing entire continents. Picture a wall of water, miles high, sweeping across the land at the speed of a jet. Coastal cities would be erased, and vast inland areas would become part of a new, chaotic, global ocean. After this initial phase of utter destruction, a new, slower, but equally terrifying reality would set in. Our planet's geography would begin to change dramatically. The Earth isn't a perfect sphere. Its spin causes it to bulge at the equator. Without that spin, gravity would take over and begin to reshape the planet. The massive oceans, no longer held in place by centrifugal force, would start to migrate towards the poles. Over time, this would lead to a world with two gigantic polar oceans and one supercontinent wrapped around the equator. The land masses we know today would be completely submerged or rearranged. What was once the bottom of the Atlantic and Pacific might become a vast, dry equatorial desert. The world map would be rewritten not with ink, but with water and gravity. Now let's talk about the sky. The Earth's rotation gives us our cycle of day and night. Without it, that cycle is gone. A day would now last an entire year, as the Earth would only change its orientation to the sun during its yearly orbit. This means one side of the planet would face the sun for 6 straight months, while the other side would be plunged into a 6-month-long night. Let's imagine you're on the daylight side. The sun would beat down relentlessly. Temperatures would soar to unbearable levels, well above the boiling point of water. Any remaining surface water would evaporate, creating a thick, suffocating atmosphere. The land would become a scorched, sterile desert, baked under a sun that never sets. Life would be impossible. Now, flip to the dark side. For 6 months, there would be no sunlight at all. Temperatures would plummet to hundreds of degrees below freezing, colder than the harshest Antarctic winter. The oceans would freeze solid, creating vast plains of ice. The atmosphere itself might even freeze and fall to the ground as snow. It would be a world of absolute darkness and cold, a frozen wasteland. So, could anyone survive? Perhaps. There might be a narrow band, a twilight zone, between the scorching hot side and the frozen dark side. In this Terminator zone, the sun would be perpetually on the horizon, creating a state of permanent dawn or dusk. Temperatures might, just might, be in a range where liquid water could exist, but even air life would be a constant struggle. The weather would be chaotic. The extreme temperature difference between the hot and cold sides would generate unimaginably powerful and constant storms. In this twilight zone, and remember the planet's magnetic field, which protects us from deadly solar radiation is generated by the spinning of its liquid iron core. If the planet stops, what happens to that shield? It would likely weaken or disappear, leaving the surface exposed to cosmic rays and solar flares. So even if a small group of humans managed to survive the initial chaos in some deep underground bunker, their long-term prospects would be grim. Agriculture would be impossible. The entire food chain would have collapsed. The very air they breathe would be part of a hostile and alien weather system. The conclusion is stark and unavoidable. If the Earth were to suddenly stop spinning, it would mean the end of life as we know it. From the initial cataclysm to the long, slow transformation into a planet of extremes, survival would be virtually impossible. This thought experiment isn't meant to scare you. The chances of this happening are practically zero. But it does give us a profound appreciation for the delicate balance that makes our planet so perfect for life. The simple, constant, and reliable spin of our world is the silent engine that drives our climate, our ecosystems, and our very existence. It's a reminder that we live on a dynamic and interconnected world, where every little movement, even one we can't feel, is a crucial part of the grand cosmic dance that allows us to be here. So the next time you watch a sunrise or a sunset, take a moment. You're not just watching the sun move. You're witnessing a testament to the incredible and life-giving motion of our home, planet Earth. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into a hypothetical apocalypse as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest what-if questions in science. Let me know in the comments what other cosmic scenarios you'd like us to explore. See you next time.